Morning, everybody. It's time for Morning Manna. And this morning, an appropriate title for the impartation of this morning is Plugged In, of which I was having difficulty doing. I'd already decided that I was going to speak about and talk about being plugged in. And then when it came to me doing it, getting plugged in, to online and all of those things, there was some problems with that. The problem is that my StreamYard was saying that I had to determine how I wanted to look. I said, well, I think I look the same all the time, whether I wanted to be landscape or portrait. Hey, who knew? But plugged in. Good morning. How is your Monday morning? Ready to share the manna with you on this morning. How many of you were in church on yesterday? What did a man or woman of God preach on yesterday? And what did it mean to you? What did it speak to you? And if it did, what particular thing did it say? What was the particular biblical principle that you are going to apply to your life as a result of the man or woman of God preaching on yesterday? Put it in the chat area. Put it in the chat area as we get our audience together. And it's all about this morning plugged in, of which, like I said, I was having some trouble myself. My application here, StreamYard, which is what I use to come online, that particular thing was saying to me, I need you to do this, that, and the other. Never asked me that before, but now I am, in fact, plugged in. How about that? Good morning, Ramona. How are you on this morning? Good morning. Who is this? Arlene, how are you on this morning? Good morning, Gerald. How are you on this morning? Good morning, Minister Yolanda. How are you on this morning? Wendy, how are you? Dawn, how are you? Liz is in the house. Fawn is in the house. Elder Mobley is in the house. Amari is in the house. Laura is in the house. Brenda is in the house. Dolores, my homegirl, is in the house. How about that? Pamela, how are you? Vaughn, how are you? Vicky, how are you doing on this morning? Joelle, how are you? Francine is in the house. Here we go. Elder Jan, how are you? Deacon Joe, how are you? Dan the man is here. Deborah, how are you? Cynthia, how are you? What did the man of God preach on yesterday, or woman of God preach on yesterday? And what was the biblical principle that really stuck with you that you were going to apply? Good morning, Valerie. How are you? Minister Sent, how are you doing on this morning? Good morning, Erica. How are you doing on this morning? Praying for that breakthrough. We know it's going to come through. Good morning, Linda. Brenda's sister, daughter. What am I saying? Good morning, Anna. How are you on this morning? Verena, how are you? Deborah, how are you? Love the things that we're going to do. Got us. We got to do a little bit more, Deborah, just a little bit more. But loving all of that. Good morning, Jacqueline. How are you on this morning? Let me get some more folk in here. Rapunza, how are you doing on this morning? Praying for that breakthrough, of course. Anna, how are you on this morning? Valerie, how are you? Get some more. Okay, Minister Sent, Pastor Wallace says, pray in tongues at home to build yourself up before you get to church. How about that? Yeah, that is good. That is good. Yeah, don't come to the gas station completely empty. My Lord. Have some gas in you when you come to church. How about that? Good morning, amazing. How are you on this morning? Bernice, how are you on this morning? Asking the question, what did the man or woman of God preach yesterday, and what was the application for you? Malachi, preached about Malachi. Okay, that's good. This morning, it's all about the whole piece of plugged in. Plugged in. How about that? Let's get with it.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Manna, where in 5 minutes or less, you're going to get an impartation with the text, the talk, and the takeaway. Join the Morning Manna fam every weekday morning at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. Don't forget to put in the chat the revelation that you get and share the manna. Now, let's get ready to have some manna so you can make it through your day.
Plugged in. Here's the text. I am the vine. You are the branches. Let's be clear about our roles. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do Nothing. John 15 and 5, NIV translation. First thing we grab a hold of is this conversation is taking place in the upper room discourse that theologians call it. Jesus is hours away from his crucifixion, from his arrest, and from his beatdown, and all of those things that are just about to happen. They are in the upper room, and Jesus is walking through what it means for them at this time. They're anxious, they don't know what is about to happen. And then Jesus looks out and sees over the garden of the Mount of Olives, and he sees this connectivity. And he then draws inference from that and tells them about who they are and who he is to be plugged in. There's three things I want you to get as a result of this text. One, there is divine dependence. When you're plugged in, there is divine dependence. Jesus doesn't call us to occasional contact, he calls us to constant connection. The vine and branch imagery isn't casual, it's covenantal. A branch doesn't get to choose when to draw life from the vine. The moment it disconnects, it begins to die. So you have to stay plugged in. The second thing I want you to grab a hold of is there is a fruitful fellowship when you're plugged in. Connection to Christ automatically produces fruitful fellowship. The fellowship is going to produce fruit, it said as much. Real connection always results in evidence, not excuses. You can tell who's connected by their consistency. You can see that with whomever is connected to you. How consistent are they with their compassion, their character, their care for you? So it is with our connection with Jesus. The vine is where the life runs through. So make sure that you're connected too. Here's the third thing. The third thing with respect to plugged in and staying plugged in is pruned for purpose. Pruned for purpose. You know the text well. The text comes and it talks about the fact that here comes the vine dresser, the gardener, the one who is in charge of the whole vineyard, actually prunes for a purpose to make it produce more. When you feel the clip and the snip of the pruning scissors, understand that it's proof that you are connected. And second, it is proof that he has a purpose for you. And third, it is that you are going to grow as a result of whatever pruning you may be dealing with right now. You're going to produce more fruit. It's by design because you are plugged in. What's your takeaway this morning? Your takeaway is this: stay plugged into the source, not just the service. Not just the service, but to the source. Your fruitfulness flows from your faithfulness. Your fruitfulness flows from your faithfulness. The Lord be with you today. May his face shine upon you and give you peace. This bless you, bless somebody else. Don't keep it to yourself. I'll see you tomorrow morning with more morning manna. God bless you.